Hey everyone. So today I wanted to sort of give my initial thoughts, first impressions on my Kuiu whitetail setup for this fall. It's not 100% complete, but I have a lot of my pieces already set up. So this will just be an initial first impressions video. I originally in the past, I've always worn First Light, and I've kind of gone away from that just to try new things. For reference, I am 5'10", 170-ish pounds. I've purchased a medium in most of these items, so I'll just go through them one by one. Starting with base layers, I picked up the I think this is their Ultra Merino 145 hoodie. And this was just gonna be like a next to skin layer, something, I guess coming from First Light, this would be similar to like their Wick 150, something like that. Actually, when I purchased this, I did not realize that they had a 200 weight Merino, so I'm gonna go back and pick one of those up too for those colder mornings and stuff. I'll also be trying on these pieces at the end of the video. But so this is just a really lightweight piece. Again, ideal next to skin. Pretty thin, but overall, I feel like it's constructed really well, really soft, not scratchy, itchy, anything like that. Great hood. I don't normally run hoods on anything except for these really thin merino wool base layers. I will wear hoods on these because I don't like a bunch of hoods to build up behind me. But anyway, just a great base layer. Again, I went with the medium in this. Okay, so the next piece I wanted to cover is this 290 weight mid layer. I think they call it maybe it's the Encounter 290. It's specifically made for whitetail. Really heavy. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but it's pretty high loft fleece type lining on the inside. Should be great for those warm days. I love that the collar doesn't sit very high. It's a relatively short collar. I love that for shooting a thumb release. I don't like big, long, bulky collars that get in the way. It's definitely like a brushed finish on the outside. Should be fairly durable. Still got the thumb holes, just like the Merino base layers. It does on the cuff here. It's sort of got this different type of material, almost like it's, I don't want to say hemmed, whatever you call that, which is actually kind of something I was going to touch on later as I tried these on. The hem of the piece down here at the bottom has that same kind of material, and I noticed this sort of like binding on my waist, and maybe I could prevent that if I sized up, but I feel like it fits me relatively well overall. It just kind of is tight around the bottom, around the waist, and I noticed that if I go to lift my arms above my head, it doesn't want to come back down. So I don't know, I haven't seen any other Kuiu pieces with this type of hem. I don't know if it's just specific to this piece or what, and I guess I could modify this or something, but anyway, just something to note, and I'll touch again on that when I try them on so you guys can see the fit and all of that. But this should be great for cold mornings. Again, I kind of got this to layer over the 145. The next, I guess what I'll cover next are the attack pants that I picked up. These are one of Kuiu's staples. I think everyone, even if you don't wear Kuiu, has heard of the Kuiu attack pants. They are great. Kind of almost feels like I don't know if it's a polyester or a nylon exterior. Really durable. There are lots of reviews on these out there with the hip vents. Great for dumping heat. The inside of these, what I really wasn't expecting, but the inside of these is almost, you can't really tell by looking, but it's almost sort of like a soft, almost like a brushed finish. I feel like these are a little warmer than something like a katana. I'm probably going to eventually pick up their katana, the stretch woven pant, which I know that one's a nylon pant. I'm not sure if the exterior fabric of this is nylon, Great pant, should be plenty warm enough to wear under the proximity set, which I'll go over next that I have. Yeah, just a great overall pant, really versatile. I'll wear this as an outer layer in early season, and then it'll become more of like, I guess, like a mid layer as I progress through the season. And also have their belt here as well. Okay, so the next piece I wanted to cover, well, I guess the next two pieces really is the proximity set. This, to my knowledge, is the warmest whitetail specific gear that Kuiu has, and probably really their warmest set that they have overall, I think, or if not really close to it. I think they have a super down burner parka, something like that. It's supposed to be really warm, but this is again specific for whitetail. So, kind of a brushed fleece on the exterior, not super high loft, but somewhat high loft. 2 chest pockets, a hem cinch. Again, I'll try this on. I actually took the hood off because, like I mentioned earlier, I don't really usually run hoods except for on my really lightweight base layers. I'll run a hood on those, but outside of that, I normally don't run a hood. Tree harness pass through, which is a huge deal. Always have a harness on, and so that's really a must for whitetail outerwear. Fits really well. Again, I'll try this on, but overall, I think it's going to be a great piece. You know, when it gets really cold. The one complaint I have, and again, this is kind of, I feel like I'm right on the line. Again, I'm 5'10", 170 pounds. I feel like I was right on the line between a medium and a large. Probably could have gone either way, and I went with a medium. Actually bought this second hand. I didn't buy this direct from Kuiu. But one thing I did notice was that, and you see this, you know, on other Kuiu, you know, product reviews, is that the sleeves, in particular the forearms, are fairly tight. So I'll go over that too whenever I try these on. But overall, I think it's a great jacket. Great pocket placement. I probably won't use these chest pockets. I run a vinyl harness, but they lay flat. This fabric actually folds over the zipper, so that's nice for wearing a vinyl harness. It's still really smooth. So that part's great. Yeah, overall should be a great cold weather jacket for whitetail. And the last piece I wanted to touch on is the proximity pant. So same material as the jacket. They do come with the suspenders, which is great. They have this portion on the back that comes up a little bit higher, just to kind of help prevent that gap between the bottom of your jacket and pants that, you know, that I feel like all of us have seen at some point. Suspenders are great. The fit is I really like the fit. I feel like it's again, these are a medium, and I feel like it's really more of an athletic type cut. I said medium, actually these are a 34, sorry, I forget their normal size. This is a 34. And so it's an athletic type cut, but there's still plenty of room to layer under these. And I love that the bottom of these is this separate material. Happens all the time where you get pants that go, these outer layers usually go over my rubber boots, and you get in the mud and whatever, and it's, you know, this fleece type fabric is super challenging to get mud and dirt and stuff out of, especially once it's dried. So I love that the material down here is a little bit different. It's also got belt loops if you choose to run a belt. I probably won't. I'll probably run the suspenders. Pocket placement is great on these. You've got a horizontal pocket here, vertical pocket here. Super sturdy zippers and buttons and everything. It's very well made, very well thought out. The zippers on these are actually, something I noticed, are super quiet, which is kind of, I mean, I don't know how well the mic's gonna pick it up, but I mean, I can unzip this, and I mean, it barely, I mean, makes any noise at all. And it's the same way for the jacket. So that part's great. Same type of insulation in the jacket and pants. It's their 3D EFX insulation. super excited to try this out this fall. So I guess what we'll do next is I'll just go through and try these pieces on one by one, just so you guys can get a feel for the fit and just see what the pieces look like once they're on. Okay, so this is what the fit's like on the, this is the Ultra Merino 145 quarter zip with the hood. Again, this is a medium. It does have the thumb loops, which again, coming from First Light, I really prefer this style of thumb loop. It lays flat, and when you put your thumb through it, it comes out like that. Really nice when there's no gaping hole or anything when they're not in use. So I really like that. Fits well, just a really thin merino wool base layer, not much to it. The collar does come up pretty high, which I don't mind on these thin base layers. I do like that. The hood, I'll throw that on. Fits something like this. I can pull it back. It does not affect my peripheral vision at all. And one of the reasons I don't mind running hoods on these thin merino base layers is just because it never fails with the bigger, bulkier hoods. You've got your hood on and you're whitetail hunting, you hear something behind you and you turn and it's like you're looking at the inside of your hood. I can't stand that. But these merino wool hoods, especially this thin merino, just turns with you. Even turning all the way, my head all the way around, it's still not affecting my peripheral vision. So love that. I think it's gonna be a great piece. Excited to use it this fall. Okay, so I threw on the heavyweight 290 fleece, or maybe it's called the Encounter 290. I can't remember exactly what Kuiu calls it. Sorry about all the names, guys. But this is, again, great. I put it over the 145 because this is probably how I'll choose to wear it. Again, thumb loops are great. I like the cinched cuffs. Those are great. Material's nice. It does have a kangaroo pocket on the front, which is nice. But one thing I wanted to point out, and this is the issue that I struggle with this piece, is that the hem down here is just a little tight. And again, I could probably solve this by sizing up, but I don't feel like this is too tight. I want my clothes to be form-fitting, especially if I'm layering and for bow hunting. I don't want a lot of extra bulk. But for some reason, this down here just squeezes a little too tight. And you can kind of see what I mean. So if I reach up and then I put my arms back down, you can see how everything bunches up because this doesn't want to come back down. So I find myself constantly just pulling this back down. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if I will end up using this or swapping this out for the Pro Merino 200, one of those pieces. I'm not sure. But aside from that one issue, it's a great piece, super warm. I'm actually burning up with both of these on, so I'm not going to stay in these much longer. But great fit, great piece, super warm. And I do like the fit, aside from that one issue. Should be great for layering under jackets, heavier jackets like the Proximity, and stuff like that. So great piece overall. Okay, here are the attack pants. You can kind of get a feel for the fit. These are a size 34. I think maybe I misspoke earlier in the video and said medium, but these are a 34. Again, the cut's nice. They're not overly baggy, but there's still room to layer underneath. Again, just a little warmer than something like, I guess again, I'm coming from First Light. I had their corrugate guide pants for a while, which I think are more of like a nylon pant. They're definitely warmer than that. Even had their Obsidian Foundry pants, and I would say these are even still warmer than that. But again, they've got the zips, the vents, which are going to be great, especially for early season walking in. Just being able to vent, and it runs the entire length of your hip, so that's great. You definitely notice a big difference when walking around. Got the cargo pockets, which are great. I normally don't use my cargo pockets all that much, but they're really streamlined, which I like. They're not something bulky hanging out off to the side. Articulated. Again, this is just a first impressions video, but I really like them. And again, I got their stretch web belt. Really excited to use these this fall. Okay guys, and lastly, I wanted to show the proximity set. These are the pants. Great fit, just like the attack pants. You can see where the back sort of comes up a little higher, which I like. These suspenders are really wide, which I really like. They don't dig into you or anything like that. They're actually adjustable through this piece here, so you can kind of move and play with that if you're wearing a bino harness, or if you're leaning back against it or something like that. Again, really quiet zippers, which I like. The material on the bottom, good for when you get in the mud and stuff like that. Full length side zips, can zip from the top or the bottom. You can also run a belt, again, like I mentioned. Overall, just a great piece. These pockets, something I didn't mention, are situated perfectly so that when you're sitting down, you can still access both of these. If you're sitting down in a stand or lean back in a saddle, however, you'd still be able to access these. Just a great pants, super warm. It's June right now, so I'm not gonna stay in these for very long because they are definitely warm, but I'm gonna throw on the jacket so I can show you guys how that fits. And again, this is without any base layers other than just a t-shirt. Super warm. Fits really well, but you can kind of see the forearm deal that I was talking about. If you kind of move some of the bulk out of the way, especially out here, it's just super tight. So if you're gonna have more than, I mean, I feel like this is a medium. I feel like I would really struggle if I was gonna wear more than just maybe 2 base layers under this, at the most. I really like the cuffs. So if I roll that back, the cuff is like some type of it's almost like something you would see on like a performance sweatshirt, something like that. Really nice, will help to trap the heat. So that's great. Again, tree harness pass through. I removed the hood again. One thing I did want to mention is that I'm not a super big fan. It just seems like most of the technical hunting apparel world, it seems like most, no matter who it is, it seems like everyone always wants the collar that zips all the way up over your neck, which is fine, but it's really tough if you're bow hunting and shooting a thumb release. Something I find myself doing a lot is actually zipping down, folding this collar over, and tucking these under the straps of my bino harness to keep them down so that when I draw, I'm not accidentally clicking my button on the collar here. That's just something that I noticed. Another thing too that I kind of noticed, just a side note, the front portion of the jacket right here almost sort of has like a rigid type feel to it, and I think it's because I watched a video, I think they use some type of foam in here as well, and it kind of keeps the jacket somewhat rigid, almost like a placard. Like you can kind of, I don't know, like the whole thing kind of moves together. It's kind of a funny, it's very slight, but you can notice it. Anyway, very warm, great piece, should be great this fall. Again, hem cinch, athletic cut. Again, the only thing would just be the forearms. If you're wanting to really layer under this a lot, I think maybe sizing up would probably be appropriate. But if you're just gonna run 1 or 2 base layers, I think you'd be totally fine going true to size. Trying to think if there's anything else. These chest pockets are very large. I mean, you could almost fit like a pair of binoculars, for sure, a rangefinder, whatever you wanted in here. And be okay. It does have, I didn't mention earlier, it does have pit zips for ventilation, so that's nice. Pit zips are always nice. Hand warmer, just normal hand pockets, nothing special. Does come down a little lower in the back, which is nice. But overall, a great jacket. Should be great for cold weather. I guess to comment on the warmth of this set, I feel like coming from First Light, I never had their Solitude set. I tend to run pretty cold, so I actually had their Sanctuary set. I feel like maybe this sits somewhere between First Light's Solitude and Sanctuary set, maybe closer to their Solitude as far as warmth. Just to kind of give you an idea. I have also worn, I don't own, but I have worn the Sitka Fanatic set. I do not think this set is as warm as that, but it's also not as heavy. So you're not dealing with outerwear that's got quite the weight that something like that would have. So that's kind of to give you an idea of how, you know, on the warmth scale, where I feel like this would rate. But anyway, so that pretty much covers that. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up my sort of Kuiu Whitetail set first impressions video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If I misspoke, definitely call me out in the comments. I'm new to YouTube. We're new to posting YouTube videos. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I just kind of noticed that there weren't a lot of Kuiu reviews out there. There were some, but not a ton. And I definitely watched all the ones I could get my hands on before I purchased this stuff, so I figured this would be kind of a cool way to pay it forward. If you guys are interested in more reviews or want me to give you guys an update once I've used this stuff in the fall and this winter, definitely let me know. I can, I can go back and touch base, give you guys an update. I also purchased their Venture 2300 pack. If you guys want a review on that or first impressions video on that, definitely let me know and I can get that out. And as I add more pieces, I might do some updated videos. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.